Hello again and welcome to Module 4, Why is the ability to look at information based on different dimensions critical to business success by Tonya Nicole Williams for CS 540 at the University of West Alabama. What is business intelligence or BI? Business intelligence is a collection, organization, and presentation of data that is accumulated by a business. This data could be customer information, sales data including promotions, statistics, products and product movement, profitability, stores, category, region, stock price, date, time, and weather. The idea behind gathering all of this data into one place is to mesh it together in a desired fashion in order to display progress and help aid in decision making for the future. For example, if a company that sells hats checked their business intelligence, they could easily discover that their cowboy hat sales peaks in August, while they are barely selling any during December. Knowing this, they could be more efficiently able to decide when the best times would be to put their cowboy hats on sale and when to stock more. Importance of business intelligence. Being able to make business decisions based on data is a competitive advantage. It's important to link analytics to business outcomes to show how BI influenced revenue-generating opportunities, increased operational efficiencies, or improved customer service. This will strengthen the business case for analytics, show the value of the underlying data, and identify any gaps in the uses of the analytics solution. Mapping business value outcomes to the analytic questions and the underlying data needed to support them highlights the value of the data being provisioned and enables the team to identify new uses for existing data and allows any current gaps in available data to be identified. This slide shows some of the benefits. At the top, we'll start with identifying cost drivers. We'll go clockwise to increase added value, monitoring of results, real-time reporting, predictive analytics, and avoiding long discussions. Importance of data. Data is at the core of nearly every business decision made. Human resource directors are gathering information from online resources to determine the best people to recruit and confirm details about them. Marketing departments are lasering in on market segmentation data to find consumers who are ready to buy, speeding up the sale closing process whenever possible. Business executives must examine bigger trends in the market, such as changing in pricing of resources, shipping, or manufacturing. By using data effectively, a company is able to streamline the process of getting a product made and putting it in the hands of the consumer. The cost savings from not doing shotgun advertising or paying too much for resources can have significant effect on a company's bottom line profits. Looking at the data and incorporating it into the business strategy is the role of the manager. Business intelligence and analytics are multidimensional, and this graphic just shows how a cube could work with all of the data siloed but yet combined to enable the managers or the management to be able to determine time, product, and measures. So they're able to have a visual of what is happening within their company. Analytic strategy. A company needs to develop strategies for marketing, sales, human resources, and operations. Getting the right information means knowing what information is important to the company's decision-making process. The strategy starts with basic demographic data. Then it considers pricing based on the education and income of buyers and how that group speaks. Education and income are important because the more educated and the higher income a target group has, the more likely it is that the business can logically sell a higher end product to that group who can understand, appreciate, and afford the product. For example, a company who wants to market a new skincare line to women. Let's look at that. There are several key factors the company must know to effectively design and execute a marketing strategy. Although the product might work well for all women, will it be branded more for the younger teen crowd? Or will it be branded for the aging woman who's trying to hold on to her youthful skin? The label design must be different for each group. A higher price point might not be affordable to a younger crowd, but research backing the claims might be required to sell a product with a higher price point to educated professional older women. In a scenario like this, the company needs data on the cost of goods sold with the ultimate product pricing and who is most likely to buy it. It will design the entire packaging around its biggest segment, even though other buyers may also purchase it. The analytics look not only at numbers and group sizes, but what a specific demographic will respond to visually. Packaging for a young millennial group is much different than it would be for a baby boomer demographic. Effective data use. It is not enough to have just data. Great business leaders use data effectively to make decisions. Assume that a cell phone manufacturer uses components made in China. If tariffs are put on that line of components, the cost of that phone cost will rise. Understanding the effects of that data and what it does to the business owner's profit margin is imperative in developing a strategy that keeps the company profitable. The business leader might seek to find a new resource for components which are less likely affected by tariffs or international political situations. The business leader might decide to raise the cost of its final product, effectively passing on the new cost to the consumer. Initially, the company could also decide to do nothing and absorb the higher cost because it has enough of a profit margin to still be successful, while many of its competitors will need to raise its prices. This strategy is one that could reduce the profits per sale, but it might increase the demand for products because it is more competitively priced for consumers, thus the demand increases. Databases. In every business, there are multiple departments such as HR, marketing, sales, customer service, and so on. Some will even have multiple departments for specific sales like sporting goods, toys, and clothing. The data that each department gathers goes into its own database. Each database's information may be only truly relevant to its own department, but it is important for all of the data gathered to be collected and centralized in order to make comparisons and discover corresponding trends. So, if the same company selling hats sees that cowboy hats are big in August, then they also might make a comparison to see if cowboy boots trend in the same way. Gathering in the data warehouse. In order to make the data give the desired information, all of it needs to come together in the same place. Every database shares its information into a centralized location called a data warehouse. This is where different information from different departments get linked together to create the desired report called a query. Defining a specific query is when certain pieces of data are matched together to get the result you are looking for. The data warehouse is where the information from sales, marketing, and customer service would come together to answer the query of when the right time to start the sale of cowboy hats would be. The dashboard's job. Once all of the data has been configured for the desired statistics, it needs to be displayed in a form that is both effective and decipherable. Any data acquired can be displayed on a spreadsheet, but the act of getting the desired information out of it might prove difficult, if not impossible. Business intelligence dashboards are in place to take the data, break it down into the preferred statistics, and display them in a legible and relevant way that the user can easily access. This takes the legwork out of manipulating the data by hand and creating a new document every time. There are two different types of display boards that appear to be similar, but would actually be used for different uses. The first is the Business Intelligence Dashboard. This displays the information that is currently in the works of the company. Everything displayed here will be an up-to-date report of what the company is doing. This is the board that shows the company what departments are succeeding in and which ones need a little more attention. The second is the Performance Scoreboard. Here, the information displayed is in comparison to the company's overall goals. The company's current numbers will be aligned with their corresponding goal values, which allows them to dictate if they are on track with their projections. Reasons why it is important to have proper data management. First is immediate availability of information. The primary reason for managing data is the availability of information related to the business function, on demand as per requirements. Data management is essential for a wide variety of important processes such as auditing, documentation, litigation, and strategic planning. The fast-paced business environment makes this necessary. For instance, for a medical practice, patient data record management is an important task to provide better and expedited patient care and improve services. Next is compliance. It has now been mandated by law that companies should hold all of their documents, like financial papers, contracts, and other legal documents, for a certain period. When the accounting scandals of the late 20th century and early 21st century broke out, the first thing that the authorities noticed was that the documents were not in order. To make matters worse, the companies even destroyed these documents to evade prosecution. So, acts were passed that made it compulsory for companies to not only maintain records of these documents, but also subject them to audits from time to time so that there is no chance of tampering. Additionally, if the business is involved in any litigation, files containing data have to be maintained for decades till a judgment is finally reached in court, and even subsequent to that. Next is protection of business interests. Another reason for attaching importance to data management is the self-interest of the company. Modern-day organizations thrive on information. They use it to make significant decisions and draw conclusions that have far-reaching implications. As the existence of companies can stretch on for decades and even for more than a century, one can never predict when a long-forgotten, 2-decade-old file would regain importance and would require retrieval. The next generation of employees who take over the company might one day need all the knowledge accumulated by their predecessors. Thus, managing documents carefully is essential for the functional and operational well-being of the company, as well as for its long-term goals and development. Next is keeping up with the changing times and technological advancements. Companies are constantly upgrading their technology. A Word document that works perfectly fine today might stop working when the technology gets upgraded 5 years down the line to another platform. Hence, you need specialists to maintain the data and make sure that all the information is transferred seamlessly from one platform to another. After all, the company still has to work with that information. The employees might need it for their daily duties, and your finance department would need the numbers to prepare benefits, calculations, and balance sheets. Next is information is always valuable. Technology companies have bulk volumes of data that they have accumulated over the years and which they have to maintain for a long time. Information concerning an application's design, construction, modification, marketing, usage, strengths and weaknesses, patents, and technologies built on it could prove to be extremely valuable at any point of time. Old designs which were casually discarded might suddenly acquire business potential and value in the future. Some design information may need to be transferred to a different format. If an idea has been patented, then the designs and diagrams have to be archived and stored. Researchers in the future might want to look at the preliminary designs of an application that was built 4 or 5 decades ago. Hence, this data has to be documented properly and made secure. Next is enhances efficiency by saving cost and time. Inadequate and improper data management can lead to considerable loss of efficiency. Time spent looking for lost or misplaced documents and files can negatively impact productivity. And this is a slide of the references that I used for the creation of this PowerPoint. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.